Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the ASKTERRY show. Thank you guys for joining me. Sorry, I did not make it yesterday. Yesterday was Monday. We usually come to you guys live here on our page Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 8:15 till about 8:30. And then we rebroadcast in our group. But yesterday was Labor Day. And I was actually in Portland, Oregon, which was 2 hours behind our schedule here in Texas. And I just didn't want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get all dolled up and do a show for you guys. It was Labor Day, so I took the day off for rest. So anyway, I hope you guys had a wonderful, joyful Labor Day. I hope you guys were able to do some relaxation. I will mention, normally here in Texas, we wake up on Labor Day morning and you smell the fire pits and you smell the barbecue and people are getting up and making dirty rice, mac and cheese, potato salad. We had none of that. We had none of that in Portland, Oregon. Matter of fact, it was really strange because we thought they would have some Labor Day activities and they had nothing. So we are so spoiled here in Texas. So what does all of that have to do with today's question? Actually, it has a lot to do with today's question. So this person is asking about the stress. Well, they didn't say it as stress, but it is stress. But they can't sleep. They actually witnessed their dad transition from death to life. And apparently that is extremely traumatic for them, right? I actually experienced a mild form of that with my friend who passed away back in November. I didn't see the actual transformation. I didn't actually see that full transition, but I saw the progression. Okay, if that makes sense. I saw her from being up and lively and bubbly to being in the hospital, but still being very much functional, to being in the hospital and having tubes hooked up and not being able to respond to much of anything, not being verbal anymore, not being able to control her bodily functions anymore. And then maybe a few days later, she did pass away. So I believe that for me, I was prepared, right? And I was able to take that extremely well. But here's the thing, all of us are so different. I've done a lot of grief work, right? Because I do a lot of grief work with my clients. I've done a lot of grief work for myself. I've done a lot of healing processes for myself. And so I'm in a different position so that when I went through that experience, it was fairly easy for me, to be quite honest. There are times that I still get a little emotional about my friend passing away because she was my age, right? She was my friend, and watching her family and what they went through. But I think that when you are unprepared, meaning maybe you know that they're about to die, but you're still mentally unprepared, it could be very hard. And you can go through a lot of anxiety, which is probably why this person can't sleep. And I'm saying this person because I'm not ever going to use y'all's names, right? I'm going to keep this confidential. But, to be sitting there and watching this person take their last breath. Because that's what we mean by transition, right? We mean that they are breathing and then they're not. And I know that when the person is starting to transition, that their breathing becomes more slower and they might not breathe for seconds at a time. Because I witnessed that and I asked the doctors about that with my friend. And they said that that's the transition, that the breathing becomes, like that. And then all of a sudden it's not there anymore. And so I don't know if witnessing that for this person caused them to question their own life. Like, can I die? When will I die? How will I die? Who will be there with me when I die? Will I have love and support when I die? Will I be married? Will I be divorced? Where will my kids be? What kind of surroundings will I be in? And it can create a lot of anxiety because you're constantly thinking about not what you just experienced yesterday in the past, but what are you going to experience in the future, right? And then you become scared to be alone. You become scared because what if you have a heart attack and no one's there with you, right? So how can we overcome all these anxiety issues, these anxious moments, right? Because I think that's what it's about, that you're stressed not just over the loss of your family member, but you're stressed over a future loss as well. And it can be even worse when you've experienced a lot of different losses or a lot of different changes, right? So when we think of loss, we just think about a person passing away. But loss is more than that. Loss can be that I've moved away from my family and friends. Loss can be that I've left the job that I've had for 25 years and now I'm starting something new. It's a change. In therapy, we call it a transition of life, right? So when we think about loss, it's not just death. It's so many other things. And it can cause a lot of anxiety. And it can cause sleepless nights. So what can we do to overcome that? Well, number one, hold on a second, guys. I'm just really dry. Thank you. So what can we do to overcome that? Well, one, we have to recognize what's going on. Two, we have to talk about what's going on, right? We have to experience the loss. We have to experience the grieving process. We have to cry. So many of us want to be so strong that we don't want to cry anymore. We think we have to toughen up, right? And I'm one of those guys. I am. I like to be tough. I don't like to cry, but I do cry. I might not cry in front of other people, but I do cry because there are times that it's just healing to let it come out, right? To let it flow. I like to cry in my bed, and just let the tears just come out and then get up and wash my face and say, okay, I'm clean, I'm pure. Let me go back to bed now, right? Or in the shower, right? And let it just wash away. So we all need to cry because we need to purge. We need to let it come out. And for a lot of us, it helps us to feel a lot better. There are some who say that we don't need to let it come out. We just need to let it go. To me, crying and letting it out is letting it go. Because otherwise it's just stuffed inside of me, right? And I'm the type of person that I need to just talk it out. Even if I'm just talking by myself. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy. But I'm not crazy. But I know my healing. And my healing is to hear the words come out of my mouth. Because then I'm processing it. And I'm understanding what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And then I'm able to understand it and come up with solutions, right? So you might need to process with somebody. You might need to work this through with someone, okay? And of course, I'm going to say this right here and right now. We are here for you. We deal a lot in grief and anxiety. I would say over 50% of our cases are grief and anxiety. So, and grief also as it relates to depression, right? So, we are here for you. And if you need a sounding board, your objective friend, that's what we are for you. So, let us help you through that process. Other things that you can do, write it out, right? Write it out. And after you've written it out, maybe read it once or twice, rip it up, tear it up, put it in the shredder, burn it, let it go, right? You might want to have a spiritual moment where you are doing yoga or you're doing meditation and you're connecting with that person who has transitioned away from you. Yes, I'm saying spiritually connect with that person. Close your eyes, sit in a meditative stance, and let that person know what you're feeling and what you're thinking. If you're not a meditation person and you can't sit for 45 minutes like some of us can, do it for 5, do it for 10, 15. If you can't do that, then get outside and go walking. Okay? I'm a nature person. And if I'm walking on the beach or I'm walking in the woods, I'm walking by a lake. We have a lot of lakes where I live. And so it's really easy to go out and just walk and be surrounded by water. And water is so calming and so healing, right? And so get around water and just walk. Not with headphones on. No. Don't have the music blasting in your ears to distract you. Just walk. And walk slowly. You don't have to walk fast. And connect spiritually with yourself, with nature, and with that person that transitioned away from you. And tell that person mentally all the things that you're going to miss about them, right? And let that healing come about. So those are just a few of the techniques that you can use. Let me review those again. Of course, you can contact us. We're your objective friend. 2, you can do meditation, right? You can do yoga. 3, you can get out and get into nature and just quieten the mind so that you can connect with that person who transitioned. And I think that will bring about a lot of healing, and I think it will help you to sleep a whole lot better and not be so anxious, okay? Alrighty, we're about out of time. I'll talk to you guys on the other side. Have a wonderful day. Please enter our gates into a brighter tomorrow where you are in control. Bye, guys.